time for cover 3.
I'm a Ferrari.
So you're
a
saying
town
he's
car.
40.
Sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you.
Fascinating right there.
My chin strap's not actually tight, and there's a reason for that.
Had a GB coach, he used to say, see a little, see a lot.
This is diabolical at home, okay?
You can't accelerate like I can.
Let's have some fun, okay?
Okay, boys, let's do that every week.
You think the Texans got a chance versus Kansas City?
I do.
I agree. One of the reasons why is because Nico Collins and in-breaking routes between him and C.J. Stroud. Now, this is a staple point of Houston's offense. Bobby Slowick, their offensive coordinator, comes from Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, and a big part of what they love to do is throw these in-breaking routes where they try to vacate the middle of the field. Sometimes it's with play action, sometimes it's with drop back. I think Nico Collins' comfort, his frame, his route running ability is a major part of why they're successful doing it. Now, one time they'll do it what we call the dagger concept.
Yeah.
Another time is what we call sometimes a wrap or dig route by the one-on-one concepts or route tree. Okay, so number one, what they do differently in Houston in comparison to some other teams is they really try to live in the shotgun play action world where CJ's going to sit in that shotgun, and what they can do is they'll take their backside tight end and make sure the protection is one way and the back's another way, and they get to those stacks at the bottom of the screen with him and Robert Woods. Now, two things for me that stand out.
Before you even get there, the
go.
protection part of it, when you talk about that shotgun play action, look what it does to the defensive line. Now these guys start to slow down. You see as Schultz is coming back as a running back. Bud Dupree is trying to figure out and determine the play on the run. So it slows down that rush, and those guys are checking to make sure the protection's there before they get out in the route.
Because they'll run it well enough out of the gun.
Yes.
Now, out of this set, right, I love the fact that versus what they anticipate zone defenses, they put Robert Woods, kind of their speedster at the point, and then Nico Collins is behind him. I think the main reason is we want to make sure that Nico gets off the line of scrimmage free. The second thing is I want Nico to be behind Robert Woods. I want him to be 4 or 5 yards behind him because my number one issue with Robert Woods is I want Robert to do what we call the clear out route. You're going vertical, and I want you to lift coverage. Remember, the play action, I have to draw coverage down. Robert lift it, and see how Nico's behind him?
It's a hell of a clear out route, ain't it?
That's a clear out. Let's go. Can we go back to the beginning real quick, Dan? I am a connoisseur of the clear out route in my career. So this is actually the most important part of his play.
Yes.
If it's single high, he has to make sure he influences a single high safety. But Robert Woods knows that there's probably a backside safety, so he's going to shoot right through the middle. To your point about this is a spacing route. So not only are they in stacked alignment to make sure that he's going to be out in front, you're going to watch Nico widen. You have to widen a dagger route from a stack because you have to have the right spacing. He's going to clear it out. If he stays on a straight path right behind him, he's going to miss the window. So you see he's going to widen out, cut back inside the DB, and still widen to the numbers because this is the area he's trying to occupy.
I love the spacing distribution there, not only vertically but also horizontally. And then right now as a quarterback, you see this middle of the field and you go, that's exactly what I'm looking for. This is one of those layered or feathered throws that go right over those underneath defenders perfectly to Nico Collins. He's got a great understanding of when he gets to the top of that cut, that's when I want to take advantage of it. So if the Kansas City Chiefs are going to play a little bit of a single high safety or a zone concept, that's how they're going to attack it in that gun play action. The second thing, bottom of the screen. Now, this is different, right? This time, Nico Collins is at the point and Mechie's off. They're anticipating, once again, some man coverage. Last time, zone. This is another version of some of these in-breaking concepts. I love how Nico, now, Hawk, let me ask you this. Nico, last time you said he went outside. This time it looks like he's going inside. The Chargers playing outside leverage, man coverage with one safety middle of the field. Why the inside seam?
Because he's already wide. So in the previous one, he was a little bit outside the hash, which means he had to widen to the numbers. Well, we're going to line you up already inside numbers. So if you go inside because you're scared if you go outside, you'll get stuck. You need to be pushed, and your timing is going to change from when you go to the middle.
Let me ask you this, because you're playing man coverage, right? And I know you're playing your leverage as a DB because you're playing outside of Nico, understanding that you have help. But at some point, you got to know as well, we only want in-breakers in Houston.
And the challenge for this is why Bobby Slowick is doing it. Both times we've seen this in cut, even on the other one, it still has to be caught 2 yards outside these hash marks. but you get into these tight splits because it makes it tough on the DB. I will never tell a cornerback with a split this tight to play inside leverage because you have all of this yards on the outside. Yes, you're saying we like to run inside breakers. If he aligns inside Nico Collins and he just takes off, you know quarterbacks at this level, if you give them from the numbers all the way to the sideline to fit a ball in there, I didn't say flawless, you're going to make that catch. So he has to stay outside leverage. But what he mistakes is Nico Collins is a big physical receiver. You can't get on his body. Now when you do that and you get on him, you create the surface for him to be able to use that arm to push off, and the official's never going to call
love the way he plays through contact here at the top right now, that separation with the chicken wing.
It's what makes the entire play. So this depth of this route is typically about 15 to 17 yards. Unless you get contact from a timing purposes, you need to break it out earlier. The other thing is, as he pushes to the inside, to your point about when he goes inside, they missed this first window, and they hit a second window for that exact reason because he has contact and has to go now.
Stroud throwing with somebody right in his face. You should like that.
If it's man coverage, who do you like for Kansas City to match up with him more often than not?
As much as they can get McDuffie, their best cornerback,
you think
on
he's
Nico Collins.
Enough for
he's
Nico?
Not as big as him, but he's their best cover guy. But what's going to really help Kansas City, Jalen Watson should be back in the lineup.
If Kansas City's going to win the game, they're going to have to shut down those in breakers from C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. Good job, boys.